But everything started like this with an empty room. How do we turn this into a business? How do we grow into this? How do we expand into this?
You're only as good as your last month in affiliate marketing.
Yep.
So if you actually build a real business with residuals, then you're gonna actually build something that's sustainable, and then you can survive the dips. But a lot of people are just out there creating content just to go viral for no purpose other than that. We're creating content to monetize it.
Nosotros empezamos con $60,000 la compañía, 2019. Ese año terminamos con 9 millones de revenue.
$9 million, pure affiliate. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout outs to our sponsors over at Ringba for sponsoring this video. And also I get a lot of questions about where to start with pay-per-call. This is where I recommend you start. The pay-per-call revolution, written by the founder of Ringba, Adam Young himself, who was a big affiliate before he started this awesome call tracking software company. So yeah, this is exactly what I recommend if you're new to pay-per-call. I have a free course as well, which you can see in the description below this video. But yeah, let's get back to the content. All right, we just got here to Leeds Icon. We're gonna go into the office and see what they're doing today. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to finally meet you, man. Yeah.
You haven't met Chris before?
I don't think we met.
In New York.
Maybe one of the shows, yeah.
In New York.
So guys, you probably saw Manny in the podcast we did on the beach in Ibiza in Spanish and English if you prefer one of the two. So we're actually here at his office now in Miami, just right by the airport actually, like literally behind it. Yeah. Super convenient. And he's gonna show us, this is the insurance arm of your business.
Yeah,
right?
This is Better Ways. Actually, guys, I'm sorry for the mess. Today we're actually expanding, so you'll be able to see the expansion. Part of the expansion, so everything looks super messy. Don't look at the mess, ignore the mess. And this is our first Saturday of OEP, so it's exciting to have most of the team here.
What's OEP for people that don't know?
Open enrollment period for ACA, Affordable Care Act. So a lot of noise in the agency, but let's check it out.
Let's go.
This is Santi, Sales Director, Better Ways.
Hi, how are you? How's it going?
Again, we're like in the process of growing everything and moving and stuff, so
yes.
Don't look at the mess, guys. Let's check it out. Manuel Olivos, our business partner. I talked about him in the last interview, how we started Leeds Icon like 5 years ago.
He's another guy that was dropshipping with us back in 2016, 2017.
Yeah. So today is Saturday, but you can see how the room looks like today. It's Saturday, it's open enrollment, it's work day. Check it out. We have a little conference room here / lunch room. All right. Here we go. You're gonna hear Spanish. You're gonna hear English. We have a little bit of everything here.
So question. Obviously, these people are in the U.S. The leads that you're getting in the inbounds, outbounds.
Yes.
You're messaging in Spanish, but it sounds like I hear some agents flipping English Spanish. So I'm sure a lot of the leads or people that you first contact with, they're like connecting with you with Spanish, but then maybe they flip over to English in the middle of the conversation, right?
No. Actually, we have campaigns for Spanish and we have campaigns for English.
Okay,
Our whole entire flow for Spanish is completely. It's like two different verticals. It's like we have two products, two services here. So it's like completely different flows, completely different audience, marketing.
Spanish agents are bilingual in case the user, no.
Not really.
Okay.
So we have Spanish agents and we have English agents. Like they only work within their respective vertical.
Super cool.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. We have this is where we do all the licensing part, and Spanish team lead sits here as well. You can show them really quick. This was like a startup office.
Dude, come in here and check this out. This is super cool.
And we realized, no, don't show
that. Yeah, just this. This is cool.
So we realized, bro, 6 months down the road that we're growing faster than what we anticipated. So now we're gonna show you the expansion. You've been to the Leeds Icon small office, no?
Man. Yeah, is it here?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see it.
So this is like accounting, all the numbers part, payments part,
the unfun part,
the admin part. No, it's a very important part of the business.
Important,
for sure.
but not as much fun.
So all right, let's go to. What's up, man? How are you, man? Everything good?
Did I miss the memo? We're all supposed to be wearing army green. Hey, man.
Check it out.
I saw on the board there,
You're measuring in real time.
Yeah, it's like cafeteria here. It's like a little lunchroom, cafeteria, kitchenette.
Nice.
It's like, you know. Our goal is to like slowly but surely take over the whole building.
floor?
The whole building. Again, this is not supposed to look like this.
Come on, don't worry. Joe!
But, yeah, it's not supposed to look like this, but like we're moving stuff from the other office here. But yeah, this is the lease icon side.
We gotta probably blur this out. I'm sure this is trade secrets, right?
Not really.
Make it look blurred so it's like more like mysterious.
This is where the magic happens, bro. Whoa, Chris Groves, come on, everybody knows Chris Groves. All right, so Chris is like genius, mastermind behind all the creative, arm of the company. Everything starts with creative in our industry, you know that, So it's like we've made an insane partnership. Chris Groves, Mariano Olivos, and myself, we like think alike and we complement each other in so many different ways. And we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the great mashup and collaboration, the three of us, the synergy that we've made. So yeah, this is like my brother Chris. And yeah, man, we're excited, bro. We're super excited, man. And all right, you want to see the expansion?
Question before we do.
Okay.
I see PlayStation and tequila. That's awesome.
All right, yeah. Then, so
we'll get to that.
yeah, so this is where the lead Icon like meetings happen and big important meetings, or if you're gonna close a deal, we close it here. So we take like our very close circle here, you know what I mean? And this is where we are working most of the time.
So this is like your office.
This is our office.
Yeah.
This is our office. But we wanted to make it feel more like home, We spend a lot of time here. Especially the first 3-4 months, we would leave the office at 12 midnight every single day. So we wanted to make it feel like, like a work, but also almost like a fun play
somewhere you want to
environment.
be.
Yeah, so when we have meetings, we'll sit down here, we'll have a chat, we'll have a drink, you know what I mean? And sometimes like after hours, if we're waiting for, campaigns to launch or whatever, we're like, playing video games or whatever, you know what I mean?
It's killing time, yeah.
Having some fun, but
so go back, like, when did you first open this space?
this space, when was it? Was it March? No, April.
It was pretty new.
April.
What were you working on before?
Remote, all remote. Yeah, the only reason why we came to a physical space is because now we have the call center. So we need to be, present. We need
So
to
when
be,
you started doing numbers, I think you started doing numbers in ACA like Q4 last year, right? Like
big numbers, yeah.
pretty big volume.
Yeah.
Everything was remote.
Everything was remote.
It was all like
Yeah.
inbounds or transfers or.
Yeah, lead cycle right now we're about 35, right?
Where were you? So today is November 2nd, 2023. Where were you 12 months ago?
November 2nd, 12 months ago. What do you mean in terms of volume or?
Team size.
Team size? Oh, no, yeah. Team size were probably like 20.
What were those roles?
Mostly media buyers, content creators, editors, and a few media buyers, not too many media buyers. It's mostly creative.
You care sharing any numbers? Like volume
The
of
volumes
then?
that we're doing?
Yeah, then versus now.
So in terms of volume, we were about doing, last November, we were probably doing like 10,000 calls a day,
We
right?
got days we're doing 14, 15,000 calls.
Yeah.
That's
So, yeah, that was like almost December, right? That was almost like, we peaked at like 15,000 calls a day.
All ACA.
All
debt.
ACA and debt, mostly ACA. And this year we're very spread out into like multiple verticals. So we have some lead gen, we have obviously ACA, we have to because of our Medicare as well.
So you're writing Medicare or you're
Yeah,
transferring?
we're running Medicare. We're not selling Medicare, but we're running Medicare. We're doing Medicare, ACA, a little bit of auto insurance, final expense. So we're more spread out, and
But it's different because you own the book. So you don't need to have
different.
as
We don't
much
need
volume.
we don't need to do as many calls. And as a matter of fact, it's very hard to do as many calls because now we have the scalability problem of like, how many how many people do we need, or how many, let's be honest, right? It takes a lot of capital, it takes a lot of cash flow to float.
What's your cycle? Usually like 60 days?
No, we have carriers that sometimes take 4 or 5 months to pay.
No,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. So yeah, the insurance world.
I thought it was usually
is
30
tough.
days after 1 month.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. But there's delays.
In reality,
it's a very complex business, and you figure that out when you're a few months into it.
Why did you want to grow to this versus stay vigilantly focused on the performance media side, where maybe the cash flow is a little more predictable?
Yeah.
You don't need a ton of agents. You don't have to hold a book.
That's a good question. Actually, Chris and I were talking about this last night with Nolivos. We were grabbing dinner, and we see it as two ways. Let me know if you want to add anything to that.
I mean, one's long term and one is like
Exactly.
the quick cash, which is the affiliate side. Basically just going in and getting the fast payouts, but building the longevity. Knowing that. I don't need the mic. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Should I hold it?
Yeah, you just hold it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think to answer your question, it's just like the affiliate side is just the fast cash, right? You're the fast money. But when you're actually building a book, you're building the residuals. Because over time, even though it's a longer term play, I think there's a benefit. Because you could have a month, you're only as good as your last month in affiliate marketing.
Yep.
So if you actually build a real business with residuals, then you're going to actually build something that's sustainable. And then you can survive the dips. Because, there's cycles in our market. I used to do really well in refinance when the rates were low, crush it, 100K plus days. And then what happened is the rates went up and I had to pivot right out of the refinance market because it's just the market itself. You can't always force a vertical to work. Same thing's kind of happening with ACA. There's all these changes from CMS and these changes, have affected the industry. But it's just like a cycle. Everything has a cycle. The stock market has a cycle. It goes up and down. So we're seeing that with ACA. It's the bottom. Get into the bottom and then
not if
ride
you have
it
a
up.
floor. Not if you have a floor, right?
Exactly.
It's actually the better time probably than last year. There's less BS ads running in.
Exactly. There's going to be more opportunity and catching that. It kind of filtered out, I think, all the people that are just, doing some of the shady stuff, which I think is good. So.
Yeah.
So how did you two first connect or meet, and when?
Well, how do the three of us meet? Because there's also no
Yeah, Manuel as well.
Well, we actually met at a conference. I believe it was New York, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a New York conference. And I was working at the time, I was working with a partner. But then before that, I did work by myself. So when I got started into affiliate marketing, I was by myself, but you can only grow so much. I think when you collaborate, especially when you collaborate with like people that have the same mission and goal as you, there's a lot of talented people in this space, and we really clicked, I think, on the creative side.
Yeah.
Because I was doing, like these just organic creatives, with my grandma, my mom, just doing crazy skits just to UGC wasn't really too popular when I started. And I know that he saw some of my ads, and then he made this insane ad where they rented out an entire junkyard. They dropped a car from 30 feet in the air.
Of course.
And I saw that, and when I saw that, I was like, I'm not even going to try attempting this. This is just insane, because I was just doing really simple creatives. My creatives were just simple, educational, or just,
But they would crush though, so that's all.
But it was in the script, right? Because you can crush multiple ways. I saw this and I didn't even know who it was. I was like, oh, this has got to be some big production company that did this. And it just never crossed my mind. I'm like, how did someone make this? And then I find out it was him, and I'm like, man, we got to collaborate. We were just kind of brainstorming back and forth, and created a really good bond there. And I don't think we talked too much after the first initial contact we had, but we always were on the back of each other's minds.
Yeah, for sure.
We're because he would see my ads and I'd get tired of it. He'd see my replies.
Sorry, man, I do jiu-jitsu. I'm on guys' backs all the time.
I think there was one video you saw where I decorated, this was during COVID, I put a bunch of balloons around the table, and they were a bunch of Karens. It was just the most ridiculous skit, and it tied into refinance. It was just the most random ad.
Yeah.
And
every time I would see a hint of Chris, I wouldn't have to even watch the whole entire video. I would just see the hook. I mean, oh, that's Chris.
Yeah.
It has to be Chris.
It's his style.
Yeah, that's Chris.
And then I started picking up your style too. But I think back and forth, they were so focused on auto, I was so focused on refinance that we never even really crossed each other's paths in terms of vertical.
Yeah.
But they just smashed auto silently too, I must add. Yeah. Other than the fact that everybody saw your creative.
And everyone knew.
Yeah.
But after they saw.
Yeah. So, but yeah, then after that, we decided that we have to collaborate and do something together. And so we started collaborating. What's been 2 years now, actually.
2 years.
This would be going on to our second year.
Yeah.
How different has your guys' lives been then? Obviously, both having high levels of success.
Yeah.
Without each other, now being a team.
Oh, it's night and day difference.
Look, you said the same thing at the same time.
we do think alike. Actually, that is one thing that is crazy. Me and him will say the same things. Last night, in fact, at dinner, we were talking about something, and what was
so
the word?
weird, man. It happens all the time. I don't know why. I mean, there's something in the universe.
Energy.
I don't know how. My Cuban version of
we think alike.
Crescito.
We really do. We do think alike. It's so crazy because we'll finish each other's sentences in the most weird way.
happens
We were
all the
editing
time.
one time and we were like, what if we cut right here? and then we would
Yeah.
just.
Or I
it's
would
just
think about a
crazy.
number, tell me the number, and I'll be like 30%. I'll be like, that's the same number I was thinking. It happens all the time.
Oh yeah, we're talking about
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
something
Full
in the millions,
bromance,
like
but
30 million is just crazy. I think great minds think alike. You know, I think that expression is true. So, what was the question again?
So how
How do we
different?
feel?
How different?
I can add to
You
that.
can
if
add
you
to that.
want.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, man, I feel like you could go fast by yourself, but you could go way farther
With the right partner.
with the right partners. And so that's how I feel, man. I mean, the same way I felt with Nolivos, because we've been partners for like almost 6 years now. And adding Chris to our brotherhood, right? Because it's like a family now, is so special in so many ways. It's not only the amount that we are more successful and that we can go farther, but it's also the fact that, man, like it's so special to build this bond and to build this company
And do it well.
and do it well and have good core values and good ethics. And all of us are like thinking about, even though we might have different opinions, we all want the best for the company.
No, but you get the vibe when you walk in that this isn't like some schmuck operation. There's no shady shit going on. I can tell like you guys are all genuinely trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I know you, so
Yeah.
like.
So
I
for
felt
us,
already.
when Chris joined, it's like it was a little bit of a dating phase. It's
You're in
like,
an open relationship with 3 people now.
yeah, it's like a dating phase. It's like, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. And man, the dating phase went so well. We're like, okay, let's
Honeymoon phase.
Yeah, let's go. Right. But it's like, but we really haven't left that honeymoon phase, man. It's
Fantastic.
been excitement after excitement for 2 years back to back. And yeah, we have disagreements every now and then, but I think we're pretty good at solving those disagreements. And the disagreements come from a good place. It's not a disagreement that comes from like, oh, I want it my way. No, it's a disagreement from like, hey man, I really think the best thing is this way. This for the company is this. And so when you have that and everybody's thinking that, then you put yourself in the perspective of like, okay, let's give it some thought. Let's give it some thought because I know it comes from a good place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So man, it's super special. I'm super blessed to like work with my brothers, and the amount of talent that Nolivos brings to the table, the amount of talent that Chris brings to the table, it's so humbling to be around people that are like brilliant and that could add so much value. And I think Nolivos and I were talking about it yesterday. It's like the fact that each of us can focus on a different area has allowed us to grow more. Because yes,
one person
all
trying to-
of us understand the whole entire business really well. But the fact that is like, Chris only thinks about creative, only thinks about working. Manu only thinks about operations, only thinks about numbers. He only thinks about media buying. I think about the growth. I think about, the partnerships.
Connections.
The connections and trying to build those relationships to get better deals and whatnot. And the fact that the 3 of us are hyper focused on those areas, bro, we wouldn't be here where we are right now if it wasn't for that,
So
for that
it's-
synergy.
Biz dev, creative, media buying. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah,
Super cool.
yeah, man.
You guys are a good example for the industry too.
Yeah.
Like I mean that.
By the way, if you want to ask him any questions in English or Spanish, you should mic
Mic
him
him
up.
up. Yeah, let's talk media buying for a quick sec.
Because you have Spanish followers too, right?
I guess
A little
so.
bit?
Yeah, now I do.
Bro, you can put subtitles or something,
Our tripod. We left it at Adams. Well, so on the media buying side, what are you seeing? Like, what channels do you manage? Your traffic channels.
¿Le respondo en español? ¿Español?
Sí.
Es mejor, es mejor, es mejor.
Yeah.
No, brother, lo principal focus es en crear equipo, ¿sabes? Es como que te tienes que enfocar en soltar un poco, porque todos tienen la primicia de que, nadie lo va a hacer mejor que yo. So you are so good on media buyer, but it's like nobody make that like me. But if you sueltas eso,
If you let go,
es
yeah.
como que realmente el equipo te va a apoyar. Y creo que es la pieza fundamental del crecimiento. Porque si tú no lo sueltas y empiezas a construir equipo, en vez de enfocarte que eres el mejor haciendo algo, no vas a crecer. Entonces creo que justamente lo estamos hablando anoche, de que yo me siento bendecido en mi área porque he encontrado piezas en el equipo donde he soltado muchísimo. So, ya tengo team leaders, ya tengo general managers en la parte de operaciones, ya solté mucho trabajo.
En su departamento.
En mi departamento, exactly. So, ahora me enfoco en cómo puedo crecer más. Y ya cada área de mi Buying, el equipo de TikTok, el equipo de Google, el equipo de Meta, camina solo.
¿Qué es la estructura de su equipo de media buying?
Ok, la estructura es, básicamente, tenemos team leaders, que no es que lo hemos seleccionado, sino que se lo han ganado a lo largo del tiempo. Y han demostrado management de people, ser un buen team leader, cómo motivar a las personas. So, ellos mismos se han encargado, imagínate, ellos mismos se encargan de contratar, de entrevistar, de calificar a las personas que están entrando al equipo. Y creo que esa ha sido la pieza fundamental del crecimiento de la compañía. Porque ya no lo hago yo, ya no lo hace Manny, ya no lo hace nuestro general manager. Ya el equipo crece solo a medida de la necesidad. So, ya es algo que es inevitable el crecimiento. A menos que yo diga, mira, bro, hasta aquí crecemos. Ya ahorita es crece y crece y crece y tú de repente volteas atrás, tenías 3 media buyers, volteas atrás y tenés 12 media buyers. ¿Cuándo crecimos? Fue que ellos mismos fueron creciendo el equipo. Entonces no depende de una sola persona, no depende de ti. A lo mejor
Es un sistema más o menos
es como un
del
sistema.
equipo.
Exactamente, exactamente. A la final, y en Media Buyer no era como nuestra época de dropshipping, que había estrategias, que era como que, bro, 1000 estrategias que sabemos que rompieron la liga.
Schedule, remember schedule?
Schedule, bla, bla, bla. Bro, I think right now it's about the creative. The creative is the key.
Es más sistemático con media buying. Más
Exactly.
o menos con los creativos correctamente.
Exacto, exacto. Siento que ahorita el creativo es la llave a un buen desempeño.
Y
So,
la oferta también.
of course.
Con la amortización.
Con el pago correcto.
With the pay
Exacto.
terms, the right pay terms,
Exactly.
and the right.
So por eso es que anoche estamos justamente conversando, casualidad, de que nosotros como estamos hiperfocus en cada área, es como que yo no tengo problema de monetización porque sé que Manny está trabajando en eso día a día. Yo ni me preocupo.
Yes, solo, like, only the focus in getting the best payout if it's like an affiliate deal.
Deals,
Or if it's your offer, you focus on the conversion rate with the sales floor so you can afford, like,
Or vendors, right? Diversify and getting more vendors so it doesn't only rely on our internal traffic. And that's why on ACA Spanish we opened up the floor to more vendors because we're growing in ACA Spanish.
how's that experience been so far?
So many people want to run ACA Spanish, it's insane. I put out a video, there's like 30
I
people
saw.
hitting me up.
But you gotta
30
trust, you need trusted people.
Exactly. So we need to vet them now. And we need to find out, filter people out and actually, make sure we get.
Claro, hay una parte legal
Yeah.
de todo esto, que
Compliance.
de compliance. Queremos mantenernos en todo el que sea 100% compliance el negocio. Ahora que estamos del otro lado entendemos un poco más, ¿no? Porque ahora somos publisher y somos buyers al mismo tiempo. Entonces entendemos ya un poco qué es lo que necesita un buyer en ámbitos legales, en ámbitos de volumen, en ámbitos de costos operativos, porque no es lo mismo decir, me mandas mucha calidad, good quality, but you don't have volume. So I have 30 people over there looking the operation cost. The operation cost is like. Entonces es un balance que hemos aprendido y nada, o sea, yo siento que volviendo al tema, el tema de que él se preocupe por la parte de crecimiento, relaciones, el estar pendiente de qué deals nos ayuda a subir y qué no, ha sido muy vital. Chris en la parte de creativos, te voy a ser sincero, John, yo ni me preocupo por los creativos, ni los veo. Ni los veo. Porque estoy seguro que él está haciendo su trabajo y es un tema de
Muy
confianza.
consistentemente, no necesito pensar de nada porque tú vas a recibir.
Yo me foco en mi
He's
trabajo.
focused on his area. He's focused on his area.
Entonces,
which
eso
is a
son-
lot, bro. If you think about it, every department could be its own business. It really could. It's like a whole different business. He has a leadership structure under him. Only for media.
Accounts, media buyers, commissions, operation side,
Chris,
creative, production,
editors,
editors.
copywriters.
¿Cómo para tener una persona con enfoque en creativo solo, cómo cambiaste su trabajo, sus resultados también?
Fue fácil para mí porque ya antes de que era Chris, Manny se ocupaba de esa área. So,
I was
Manny hacía la parte
I was
creativa.
wearing the creative hat and the relationship. That's why I passed on the baton to Chris.
The better question is like, how
How did I feel?
exactly. For
Question is, how did I feel?
Nothing changed for you.
no, nothing for me. For him.
Bro,
So how did it
I
change
think
for
we
you?
talked about that in the last podcast, man. Like, bro, the fact that so Chris could attest to this. In the creative side and the production side, Chris, how difficult is it to find somebody that you can trust, that you know can do it right?
It's so hard. It's
the
the
hardest
hardest
thing.
gap to fill, but it's also like the most important
Most
gap because
valuable.
everything starts there, right?
Everything starts
Everything optimizes off the creative, off the hook, off of the demographic of the actors used in your creative. I mean, it's so granular, especially with like machine learning and AI, the way that Facebook and or Meta, I should say, Meta, Google, they all optimize based probably off of, they probably transcribe the video, they probably look at the hook, they look at the visuals. I mean, I think there's so much, and that determines basically who your ad gets served to. So the creative is so important because what you say in your creative also can qualify your audience, right? If you're, for example, no Medicare, no Medicaid, if you make under $4,200 a month or $50K a year, whatever it is, that all comes from the creative, right? How you filter. So I think it's super important. But to answer your question, to find someone who's actually really good is so hard because it's not just someone who is just a videographer. It's understanding the psychology. Not creating something that's overproduced that looks like too fancy of a production. We've tried stuff that's way overproduced or way too stock looking,
high-end,
just bombs. So it's really hard because you have to find someone who really understands how to connect with the audience and just the way that you say things. Like if you have a bad actor or just a bad person in your video creating the content, that can ruin the whole
So many variables.
creative. So it's so hard. It's just like one variable after the next. And then we've even had, it's crazy, we've had creatives where basically, essentially, we could just take the voice over from the creative and put it in, on another video because it was shot in a POV format. That same voiceover that converted on this creative would not convert on that one. And it's like, how is
the
the
B-roll
same?
was the difference? Maybe,
The B-roll or
whatever
something.
the-
Like it's crazy.
footage,
The
yeah.
smallest little thing can determine if the video works or not. And it's just, that's why it's so challenging, I think.
Yeah, I think the media buying process is more constant. The editing.
Creative is the hardest part
creative-
now. It used to be the other
The
way.
testing phase super constant because we test every video the same way.
Process. It's very process.
It's a better process. The scaling is like
Always try different
exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
exactly. Each media buyer has like own or essence. It's like cada uno tiene su propia esencia.
Gut feeling. I think the gut feeling plays a role in the.
La cuentas también is.
Because we've had media buyers that use the same strategy, but then how aggressive they are and how confident they are in scaling some makes some of them more successful.
Because also a person.
Yeah. So I think that yes, there will be a point. We talk about this all the time. There'll be a point that the algorithm will take care of all this stuff, and the creative, I think, will
Y lo que significa el dinero para cada persona dependiendo del estado, dependiendo del país que es.
Yeah.
Porque
That's a big one. That's a big one.
no es lo mismo gastar un media buyer aquí en Estados Unidos 1K per day a lo mejor un media buyer en Colombia. Que tú le dices $1,000 al día y es como que, entonces es un tiempo de confianza. Okay,
Sin valor con el valor de dinero.
no, el valor del dinero para ellos es mucho más.
So they're scared.
Entonces,
no quieren perder y they want to disappoint you.
Exactamente. Entonces, también es un tema de que el tiempo, la experiencia, le va dando más confianza a gastar más dinero.
So this is
Eso es muy importante.
This is something I want to ask both of you specifically because you build like teams underneath you. So with the creative, what's your opinion on hiring versus acquiring someone that has years of experience doing something similar, let's say?
Oh, like hiring someone on the production side
From
or editing
scratch?
side? So we've
versus-
hired.
yeah.
That's a great question.
We've hired
It's a
producers
great
from
question.
scratch, and what's great about that is like the one girl we hired, she's actually in Arizona, so I was able to like go with her in person and actually like train her and like teach her everything I know. And I try to teach them everything I know, like the psychology. The psychology I think is the biggest thing. It's like how you say the words in sales and marketing, because if you come off too salesy or too scripted, you just kill the entire creative. So it's more of like getting the psychology imprinted, because the video part, everyone these days can pick up a phone and shoot video. I'll be honest with you, because the videos that actually convert are the ones that look more organic. It's not the overproduced stuff. So it's really understanding, okay, so I have the content. How do I dial it in so it matches the psychology of marketing? And so that's what I've been really working on with them. They've gotten better, but there's still leaps and bounds because, like I said, it's just, I think there's one variable. There's so many variables in the creative side. Like if you use like a bad actor, you could have everything right and you could be doing everything right on your end from the psychology perspective. But the moment that the actor like sounds scripted, then people are like BS, or like they pick up the smallest things. And sometimes in our videos, we're like, oh, how does this person afford an iPhone if they work here? You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that I think can break the script. So it's super hard. And then on the editing side, we've always looked at it like this. Like if you have good quality in, you get good quality out. It's kind of like if you bake a cake. If you bake a cake with really good ingredients, you're going to get a good cake. But if you bake a cake with expired ingredients, the product in is going to come out bad. So as long as we have like the production side really dialed in, then it makes it easier for the editors to create, you know, versions of that or variations of that.
So what about bringing in someone with experience already? Have you had success?
We've had
That's
that's
hard.
that's hard.
I think I don't want to get in the way of what they can talk about because they can talk about it their areas.
But from your experience,
But from my experience looking outside, I think it's very hard to find people that have the skill sets that we're looking for. It's very hard.
You gotta develop them.
Our top media buyers have been formed by him. Like he built them up. They have the attitude, they have the skill sets.
they're the personality type. They're coachable.
Right, but they came from the mindset of spending $1,000 in a month, and here they're spending $30,000 a day.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. There's a big
Sí,
gap.
es diferente. De mi lado, en mi área, nosotros particularmente buscamos que sepa lo básico. You know, like sepa manejar Facebook o sepa manejar Meta, que sepa de
An enfoque.
Basics.
pero,
You need to know basics.
pero que sepa todo, que conozca de la A hasta la Z. Que yo no tenga que explicar qué es un lookalike, ¿no? Sino que yo me enfoque más que todo en explicar el mindset que tienes que tener a la hora de trabajar. Entonces, para nosotros más vital es la persona que esté abierto a aprender todos los días. De que no, si viene una persona, no, yo soy un experto y me la sé todo. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, exacto. Pero si no es una persona, una actitud con buena energía que está diciendo, o sea, yo sé manejar la plataforma y quiero aprender, quiero crecer. Ok, este es tu lugar. Porque lo que yo no necesito explicarte cómo funciona Facebook, sino te voy a explicar el mindset que hay que tener atrás de Facebook, por ejemplo. Entonces, nuestros mejores media buyers actualmente han sido así. Sabían conocer la plataforma, tenían cierta experiencia, pero ellos todos los días están aprendiendo. Y hoy en día son team leaders, hoy en día han hecho N cantidad de millones de dólares. Entonces son personas que aprendieron y tú le hablas con ellos el día de hoy y ellos dicen, es que realmente yo no conocía nada cuando llegué aquí. Y pensaba que
Es
conocía.
mejor para ti normalmente, ¿sí?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the creative side, I'll let you finish that off, Chris. But in the creative side, I think it's very hard to find somebody that comes with the whole package already, because the style of content that we create, specifically the style of content that Chris creates, is very niche. It's very specific, and it's hard to find people that have everything. You can find Steven Spielberg, editor.
But it's not going to work for
And it's
this
not going to
stuff.
work.
No.
You could find somebody with 10 years plus of experience editing videos
They're gonna
or
probably make it
producing.
too polished, which doesn't
They're
work.
going to give you branded.
That
video.
might be counterproductive because it's hard to teach
Dude, I
an
get
old
it, man.
dog
Yeah.
new tricks. You know what I mean? So I'll let you finish that off. But
Yeah, no, I mean, it is hard. That's like, it goes back to the psychology thing, right? And how you create content. It's just like, you have to look at the content that's actually going viral on social media and what type of content that is and try to model that. But then that comes back to the script part, right? Because you can't just go and recreate a viral video, because most people that are creating content, they're not creating it to monetize it. Think about most content creators are out there, they're just doing it for fun. And I think that's
They
what
just
makes
want
it,
attention, yeah.
They just want attention. That's what makes it so competitive, is that there's girls dancing getting millions of views, but they're not well, they're monetizing it with OnlyFans or something, but maybe they are the smart ones. There, but-
don't underestimate OnlyFans. Man.
yeah, but a lot of people are just out there creating content just to go viral for no purpose other than that. We're creating content to monetize it. And I think that's where it gets really hard, is you're trying to basically convert a user who's just on social media, just enjoying content, into an actual sell or conversion lead or a call, whatever you're trying to generate.
Yeah,
And I think
our team approaches in the same way. Like on our weekly creative meetings, we literally like open TikTok and we scroll until something pops, not because of what necessarily like the context.
What stops
of
the scroll?
Yeah, what like grabs and like lizard brains us to stop and watch.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, how can we take this and turn it into like an auto insurance ad?
Yeah.
And like that's meshing those two worlds together is like not to go this in the creative direction with all this, but
Yeah. We do something similar to that too, you know. It's just, but the hardest part is how do you pivot out of that, right? So it comes back to the script and making it natural, because like once the user feels like, oh, this is an ad, then they're just gonna swipe up.
Right.
So you have to really be careful with the script, is what I found. So in the psychology, but yeah, it's a challenge. I think it's a challenge to find people. We have really talented editors, producers. We've had, how long has our longest producer? He's been working with you for
He's
4
been
years.
working with us for 4 years.
Yeah. And even he has lots of growth opportunities.
No, de hecho
about-
tenemos que we should finish. Do you guys want to go to the expansion?
Yeah.
Y terminamos la conversación en la expansión.
Okay.
let's do it.
Let's finish up the tour, man.
Where should I toss this guy?
Oh, there's a garbage can right here.
What's up, man?
This is cool, man. This is a cool video.
No, I'm happy.
Cool behind the scenes video, you
Make
know?
you guys look fucking good. Yeah, it'll be sweet.
Cool,
Good
cool
content.
behind the scenes video. That's cool, man.
I think it's really important for people to see you could build an actual business.
Yeah.
Like all the solo media buyers out there that want to do more, like this is going to be super inspiring. Or someone that just is doing something completely different. Maybe they're in e-commerce or they want to start an online business. They do SMA and they see this. This is going to completely change like what they think is possible. You know?
Yeah. So this is what we're expanding to. Little by little, we want to take over the whole building. So this is the next step. Check it out.
Walk us through the vision. Is like what? So when
Where
people
we
walk
got
in-
to this point.
Yeah, and when you're coming through, like what you see this as being
Okay.
when it's done.
So basically, we didn't anticipate that we would have the growth that we're having. Now we have, 40 agents to start OEP. Our projections are to get to 50 when we get to this November, about December 1st. We should get to 50. So we couldn't. It got to a point where we couldn't. You can see the other places.
Packed.
It's packed. So we're like, okay, we need to find another option. So there's a bigger space up second floor, but it's not gonna be ready until 6 months. So in the meantime, this office, the company that used to be here left. So we're like, okay, we're gonna have to take over. We're gonna have to take over this office for 6 months, for a period of 6 months. So this is gonna be the expansion of that, and we are expanding into other verticals as well. Not gonna talk about that yet because we're not ready.
Yeah, I got it.
But we will be expanding to new verticals as well. In the meantime, we're gonna use this space to occupy, 30 more agents. So in this office, we can fit 30 more agents. So yeah, it's like the bones. Now you're looking at the bones, but by Monday, by Tuesday, we should have all the.
Fresh paint and new lights will help a lot.
Obviously,
too.
this is an investment. Maybe there's some form of deposit. I don't know what you negotiate with your landlord. You don't need to go into it. But like, how are you managing? Because I know you're kicking the can down the road with the cash flow because, like you said, 5 months for some of these policies.
Yes.
How do you juggle all that? Is it the cash flow of like the affiliate offers that feeds it?
Everything started with the cash flow that we had, but we have a fourth partner that is also, helping us fund the project.
Cool.
So that's
Dude,
helping a lot.
nothing-
It's all about
nothing
relationships.
wrong with that,
it's
man.
all about relationships.
For sure.
And like you mentioned, the landlord, we're also creating some sort of relationship with him as well, where he's kind of like trusting us and trusting our growth and seeing our growth
He's gonna
firsthand.
sell you the building, I'm sure. In the
So
future.
so he's trusting us. So he's being super flexible with giving us like 6-month lease while we fix the big office upstairs, which we could look at.
No,
this.
that's a huge win for both of you.
Yeah.
There's no
Exactly.
vacancy, and then he's got a
Exactly.
guaranteed tenant upstairs.
Exactly. So we're excited, man. But everything you see, I want to touch up on something. I'm happy that we're all here, and that we're like right now in an empty room. Everything started like this.
Maybe puedes mostrar la oficina que vamos
Yeah.
a agarrar.
Yeah. That's lo que estoy diciendo. We're gonna see it. But everything started like this with an empty room. Like this, the room next door, it was an empty room, with a lot of dreams and a lot of.
Your creative brain
aspirations.
loves that.
Huh?
Your creative brain loves that.
Yeah. So it's like
You're
an
like
empty
painting
room
a-
is how do we fill this up? How do we turn this into a business, right? And for us, this expansion means the next chapter. How do we grow into this? How do we expand into this? And so I think there's something about, there's a quote that says that if, a shark can grow in a fish tank, And for us, it's like, yes, let's take calculative, measured steps into growth. but there's some sort of leap of faith that you gotta take into the unknown in order to make it, man. In order to make it, it's just the reality of entrepreneurship, you know.
How different is your life working in person every day versus working from home every day?
Bro, good question. Super good question.
Life changing.
Yeah, bro.
Life changing.
Do you like it more?
I love it. I personally love it because I love the energy of the room. I love walking by, hearing the voices. Like if I walk and I don't hear voices, I'm like, oh, something's wrong with the traffic. Let's go back to the.
You get like instant feedback loops on stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right? Whereas
yeah,
like if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
from home, like you might not see it for 3 days in the numbers.
I feel collaboration needs to happen like this.
También que tú permite ayudar a más gente, ¿sabes? A nivel de equipo. So, nos hemos encontrado con un equipo que son cracks en los que hacen, son top tier en las posiciones que cumplen y ayudarlos a que ellos puedan literalmente cambiar sus vidas ¿sabes? Porque esa es la filosofía de nosotros. Es como que cada persona que trabaja con nosotros tiene la posibilidad de llegar a lo más alto. Entonces, cuando consigues gente que quiere llegar a lo alto, es como que super good. Let's go.
Más rápido también porque en su opinión es la energía para estar igual la habitación y el cuarto.
Exactamente. Y que normalmente están a lo mejor en un ambiente más empresarial, vienen de compañías súper grandes y al estar en una compañía que es un startup, por así decirlo, sienten como que, ok, aquí le tengo que dar, porque sé que soy parte de algo.
Exacto.
Y no soy una pieza de algo de donde venían. Esa es la diferencia y eso a ellos los motiva muchísimo. Y para nosotros es como que nos hace sentir bien de que somos algo importante en la vida de ellos y que los estamos ayudando a crecer. Eso para mí es lo que me gusta de venir todos los días a trabajar. Básicamente, estar en persona.
Para ti, ¿quién es la persona que estás más algo orgulloso del éxito de esta persona empezar a...
Bro.
Damn, that's a bad question. That's a tough question, man. That's a very tough question.
Bro, te voy a dar uno bastante bien. Mitch.
¿Ok?
No,
De-
pero está hablando de la gente que trabaja con nosotros.
De la gente que trabaja con nosotros o que trabajó con nosotros en algún momento.
En su equipo. En
Right
general.
now o on
Una
the
pasada,
past?
en general. El resultado de su entrenando.
De ahora mismo, bro, nuestro general manager de Lead Cycon. Right now, bueno,
We have two companies now. We have
there
two
are two
companies.
companies now.
So
But,
there's multiple people that
él
are
ha crecido bastante, hasta el punto de que posiblemente se convierta en un partner, de tal manera, y empezando desde Midavalle. Y right now puede convertirse en un partner.
Pero tú has impactado con un otro nivel la vida de este hombre. Sí.
Claro.
Absolutely, man. Oh, absolutely. And it's the humble people that really remind us about that. Because sometimes we lose perspective about the impacts that we're making in some of the people's lives that work with us.
Especially now that you have a team like this, man.
But when you get this person to actually look around and see how his life is changing and look at you in the eye and tell you, hey man, you've changed my life, bro, there's nothing more rewarding than that. Like nothing, no money can
motivate you guys to come in every day and keep doing.
Absolutely. The person that he's talking about is somebody that started working with us like back in the day. He's actually like my wife's cousin. So it's somebody dear to us. Cool. It's like a family.
What was he doing before?
Bro, he started media buying with me when I was drop shipping back in the day. Like literally like just media buying. And then when we became partners, he came in and he was like looking at comments or something like that. He was like he was like answering comments on posts.
And now look at him.
And with his work ethic and the heart that he puts into everything that he does has allowed him to
That
become
person
the general manager in the company.
That person right now, run the company without us.
Literally, Lead Icon
Run without us.
runs, could technically run without us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What are you guys' hopes or like aspirations the next few months?
Hopes is, well, one, we have to meet our financial projections. Because I think that's very important for the morale of the team, for the morale of our goals. Is like everything that we get into, we have projections, and those projections need to be met. So if we meet those projections, our goals are to expand, like I said, to multiple verticals, this becoming an umbrella of insurance services. We hope to expand our book to over 200,000 members, and at some point when the time is right, evolve, become public company, exit the company, whatever the opportunity might be. But right now, our minds are not even thinking about that. Our minds is like, how do we grow this thing into like a real company, and actually help people out, man? Because in a way, we need to treat people like
You're
they're
filling
our
a gap,
family.
man. Yeah, for sure.
Because one of the most important backbones of our business, of the insurance business, is retention. So how do you keep retention? The only way to keep retention is to actually have a good service. How would you treat your brother? How would you treat your mom, your sister? You would enroll them into like a product, a service, or insurance
That's good for them.
that's good for them. That nobody else is gonna call them and tell them, hey, you had a terrible agent that gave you a terrible product, you're overpaying for your insurance. No, we actually prioritize, the interests of the consumer.
So real quick, tell me about your Bogota floor.
The Bogota floor.
They got a whole other office, by the way.
Yeah, our office in Bogota is just purely built on
Customer
retention.
service.
Customer service, retention. We're building a real business. It's a completely different ballgame. We're trying to actually help people out. And that's the way that we retain them, by actually providing a good service. That's the only way. So, man, it's very exciting. And going back to your question, we now have 2 companies. I also have to add another name to the list. I think Santi, our sales director, for Better Ways, has, brother, like he's been crucial. He's been crucial. The work that he's doing with motivating, incentivizing the team, the leadership that he's showing, going, the extra mile every single day, and that motivates the team. That gives the team like.
He's in here on a Saturday fixing chairs while they're grinding.
Whatever it takes. We're all gonna start painting the walls together later on, man. We all stay humble. We all stay, hungry, and when you have a crew of people thinking the same way. And by the way, everything that you see here, which we're not even scratching the surface of what we aspire to do, everything started from this. Like the bond that we have, the relationship that we have, the trust in one another that we have is life-changing.
So my last question, I want one short answer from each one of you. What is one piece of advice you have for someone that's where you were, 5, 6, 7 years ago?
You guys want me to go first, or?
Either way. My advice would be like, when you find an opportunity, hit it hard, because my advice is like, when you have something good in front of you, don't like try to drag it out. Capitalize on the moment right now. Like I think 5 or 6 years ago, like how cheap, for example, this is an example, how cheap Facebook ads were back then. Like knowing what I know now, I could have scaled to $1 million a day. But it's like I was just like playing it safe. So when you have an opportunity, go for it and just go all in. Go all in. Don't stretch it out.
La mía va en español. Yo creo que me enfocaría en la creación de equipo. Si tú consigues las personas claves para tu equipo, es lo que te va a ayudar a crecer. Y creo fundamentalmente que hay muy buen talento, muy buenas personas en la calle que quieren la oportunidad. So, cuando consigues una persona como lo acaba de decir Manny, Santi, Manuel Guinán, de nuestro equipo, son personas que si tuviera el chance de volver a unirlas a mis compañías, lo haría 1000 veces, ¿no? Y sé que en la calle hay 1000 personas más así. Entonces, cuando tú consigues eso, te permite crecer automáticamente, porque todos están pensando en el bien común de la compañía. No están pensando en lo individual, sino cómo crezco y yo soy parte de esto. Entonces, yo creo que crear equipo, para mí, creo que es una de las piezas fundamentales del éxito, sin duda.
Totally. I mean, it's hard to add anything else because there's an amazing thing. But I want to say something very important is to always stay curious. Never stop being curious. Curiosity and allowing ourselves to explore new areas, unknown areas, is what has allowed us to step outside of the comfort zone. And yeah, it's challenging. It's very tough. You find a lot of obstacles along the way. But when you overcome those obstacles of the new,
that's where all the cool shit happens.
Is when the big impact happens in the company. And that's surrounding yourself with everything that they talked about, the right people, and taking advantage of opportunities, man, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Adding to that, obviously, making sure that every step that you take, don't get into analysis paralysis, but you do need some study. You do need some projections. You need to take calculative steps, but don't overcomplicate your calculated steps. Just make sure that you have some sort of plan, and take that plan of action with massive, massive action. Like we talk about this all the time. The team that we have, the opportunities that we have, the macroeconomics that we have around us right now, if it doesn't happen, is definitely like we didn't execute the right way. It's on us.
Because it should work.
It should
based
work.
on what you know and
Exactly. So stay curious, stay relentless, and persevere, and that's it, man.
So here we are, you built this mega operation. It's only gonna become bigger and you're only gonna be more successful, all three of you and them. I'm curious though, let's go back a few years when it was smaller, work from home, less people. What type of daily revenues were you hitting then? Because I know you guys were doing some big stuff then in the affiliate space. And what type of revenues are you doing now?
You want to talk about what we did before?
Cuando empezamos, quick, nosotros empezamos con $60,000 la compañía, 2019. Agosto.
Sí.
Ese año terminamos con 9 millones de revenue.
$9 million. In
9 million.
just pure affiliate.
Pure affiliate. In 6 months, I think so.
In 6 months.
Now, maybe, ahora mi pregunta. Now the proud is now maybe we make more, but without us.
Yeah. I'm gonna add to that. I think we do better now, and it doesn't only require us to be in the picture. We have a team that can lift that weight with us. But to answer your question, revenue-wise, there's a different level of consistency that we are feeling in the air right now. I think that Leads Icon still, takes care of all these different opportunities that are hot in the market that are like, okay, we need to scale this. The macroeconomics make sense for this vertical. Let's hit it now. Let's maximize the opportunity right now.
It's like an agency arm of your business.
Right,
almost,
and then this is a slow process, but it's a long-term process of many complexities, retention, you name it, but it's building a residual. And when you start seeing that residual, you start realizing, oh wow, so this compounds. Oh wow, so maybe, perhaps we're not even doing the revenue that we would do if we would be all into Leads Icon, capitalizing on Leads Icon. But in the long term, it's a whole different story.
Because you could sell that.
It's a whole different story. So it's a patience game as well. Right now is a patience game because let's be honest, in order to grow into these operations and to expand, there's a lot of debt that we need to acquire as a company.
It's a different game.
It's a whole different game. You have more financial, obligations.
It's a financial game.
It's a financial game. It's a numbers game at the end of the day.
Fellas, it's super inspiring for me to see you two. I know we didn't know each other back in 2016, but I remember these guys when we all started dropshipping, we were masterminds and stuff together, literally just running products and finding Facebook hacks. So yes,
the game has changed. I think it was
blow up neck pillow. You remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, he filmed videos of that. So
it was so easy back then. Yeah, it was all different back then.
So use this if you're watching this. Use this as inspiration. Obviously they've done and could just do big things as an affiliate. You heard their numbers they did back in 2019. That would be even significantly bigger if that was their sole focus now. But they built something real and lasting, sustainable, with that skill set, and then obviously many other things added. So, fellas, thank you for opening
coming,
your
man.
home to us, man.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course, man. Yeah.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you, man.
Hey.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, man.